Hi minasan konnichiwa. In this video, we will talk about the best places for foreigners to live in Japan. Living outside of Tokyo can be challenging if you're not familiar with various aspects of Japan. So, as a Japanese person, I will explain the recommended cities and the characteristics of major cities. First, for those who are busy, here's the conclusion. This is a map showing the population distribution by area. The red areas indicate where the population is concentrated. I think it's best to live in these red areas. Now, let's explain in detail. North area. Let's start with the climate conditions. In Japan, there are areas where heavy snow falls in winter, mainly in the northern regions such as Hokkaido. These areas receive cold air from Siberia, resulting in a lot of snow. Therefore, snow shoveling is necessary every day, which is quite challenging. If you drive, you need special driving techniques, and it's difficult to ride a bicycle, making winter transportation tough. The summer temperature in these areas is as hot as in the southern regions, so there is no temperature advantage. Unless you love skiing and want to do it every day, I don't recommend living in these areas. Dialects. I don't recommend living in Osaka, Japan's second-largest city, or Kyoto, the top tourist destination. The Japanese language written in your textbooks and spoken by TV announcers is called Standard Japanese. This language is understood everywhere in Japan. However, the Kansai area is unique in that it values its dialect as part of its culture, which is significantly different from Standard Japanese. People in this Kansai area take pride in their language and do not speak Standard Japanese, making it very difficult for foreigners. I have searched for grammar books on Kansai dialect for foreigners but couldn't find any. Therefore, mastering a dialect that differs from Standard Japanese solely through speaking is very challenging. Think of it like the difference between Southern American English and British English. Unique word endings, different intonation, distinctive vocabulary, disasters. Japan has significant natural disasters, with tsunamis being the most notable. Sometimes I see foreigners suggesting that you can escape a tsunami with a surfboard or by swimming, but that's impossible. Tsunamis carry not only seawater but also debris like trees and stones. Being swept away by a tsunami means colliding with these objects, leading to fatal injuries or unconsciousness and drowning. In Japan, tsunamis can follow earthquakes from the Pacific Ocean. The 2011 earthquake brought a tsunami to the Tohoku region's Pacific coast. Therefore, I do not recommend living along the Pacific coast or coastal towns. Now, let's map out the areas where it's not advisable to live based on these three factors. These areas match up climatically. I'll also explain why areas outside my recommended red areas are challenging. 67% of Japan's land is forested, with only 30% being flat land. Therefore, these white areas are countryside with fewer people. I've listed cities with populations of over 500,000 in these regions. I think living in these cities or their nearby countryside is a good idea. There are issues with places that are too rural. Rural life. Some of you might prefer rural life over comfortable city life. In that case, I recommend living in the suburbs or countryside near a city. In rural Japan, there are units called neighborhood associations, consisting of about 100 households. You need to pay neighborhood association fees and participate in rural events. In good neighborhood associations, the fees are low and there are only 2 events a year. However, in bad ones, the fees are high and events are frequent. Also, rural areas have close-knit relationships, which can be uncomfortable for some people. Because of these factors, I suggest avoiding places that are too rural. Now, let's talk about the cities in the red areas. Tokyo. The administrative area called Tokyo is this area. Therefore, the surrounding areas belong to different prefectures. However, the cities are connected, and the surrounding population reaches 30 million. Even the areas not named Tokyo have Tokyo-like characteristics. Tokyo has a large population, well-developed public transportation, and if you have money, it's a very enjoyable city to live in. The downside is that it's very crowded during commuting hours, making it tough to get on trains even though they come every 3 minutes. Additionally, rent is higher compared to other cities. Nagoya is a developed city located between Tokyo and Osaka. It's easier to live in compared to Tokyo, with lower rent. Okayama. Compared to other cities, Okayama has a smaller population but is close to Osaka and offers a high quality of life. The coastal area has little rain and is relatively warm even in winter, making it a comfortable place to live. Hiroshima is the central city in this area. It has a moderate population, unique food culture, and, like Okayama, a warm climate with little rain. One downside is that the airport is far from the city. Fukuoka is the westernmost central city. The airport is close, making it easy to access other cities. It's a popular relocation destination among Japanese people. That concludes the video on the best cities and regions to move to in Japan. The recommended places for living differ significantly from popular tourist destinations. Please consider these points when making your decision.